Take two.
Yes, take two. Sorry about that, guys. I have no idea what happened. Haas was about to give us some wisdom, and then someone didn't want to hear it because
he must have had a hot take.
Cut off.
I think somehow this is Dick Shoe's fault.
Yeah,
Why not?
I'm sure it is. So while we await Ryan's return, I was going to end with the Batman discussion, but I know there's time crunches for you guys, so we could start with the trailer of the Batman. So I'm going to let Bill go first with this one, and I'll go last. I'll let everyone else go before me, and Bill, you can start it off. So what did you think?
I love the Dark Knight trilogy, and at the time it was like, this is the Batman I've always wanted. But I've been saying for like the last year or so, this is going to be more, the Batman's going to be more grounded, gritty, realistic, street level than the Dark Knight trilogy. And no one, and I had fans go, how in the hell you get more realistic than the Dark Knight trilogy? Well, you saw it today. This thing is the Batman film I think I've always wanted. It's the Batman I've always envisioned in my head even as a kid. And it's just, it was fantastic. I thought it was such a tease without giving anything really away, but you get the vibe of the film. You get the vibe of it. And I told Micah, I called him and I said, that upside down shot from the Penguin, his car, and Batman is walking toward him was brilliant. Yeah.
So who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right. Go ahead.
The thing that I took away right away was definitely the atmosphere of it all. The combination of that, it sounds very film snobbish, but the cinematography, the look of everything, as well as that music.
Yeah.
It's just creating a mood. And I think it just looks like fantastic. And I'm sure others will talk about certain scenes and stuff like that, but there's obvious Batman's a standout for sure. And I love how they constructed, it's kind of, concealing a full reveal of Paul Dano as Edward Nashton, too. That it's I don't know, very cool, very little eerie. Like Bill said, that shot there at the end, that's cool as hell. And yeah, bring it on. Forget Christmas. Let's get to March.
This was Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. So Micah, anything that from the trailer that specifically stood out to you, or that you saw and you weren't expecting to see?
No, not necessarily. I want to second a lot that Ryan had to say. Like, I think just watching the trailer alone, both of them, especially this one, this is probably going to end up being at least the best looking Batman film we've ever seen. I love a lot of the camera work. I think everything just looks fantastic. And that one, he highlighted the upside down. My dad highlighted the upside down scene with the car. I think my favorite one was the play with the light. You don't really get to see a lot of that in the Batman films where darkness is used. And that one, it was like in a weird dark hallway, almost looked like an abandoned train station. I'm not sure exactly where it was. And the guy's firing the gun. And Pattinson just does not care. Am I allowed to curse on there? I just want to say.
Yeah, you can. That's fine.
Yes, you can.
Pattinson does not care. He does not give a shit. He's just walking forward. I love how the armor is actually taking the bullets. And he really, like he said in the trailer, he's like, I don't care what happens to me. And I just love how we're really going to get a mental dive into this Batman. Like, he really does not care what happens to him. He means business. I really love that about the film.
Yeah.
All right, Haas, you were speaking and we got cut off. So you could take the next shot of this.
Yeah. So just pre-FanDome type stuff. It's interesting the reverence that I feel like we here are giving this film. It was as echoed around like social media right now too, because the whole time FanDome, everybody knew like the big thing is the Batman trailer, and sure enough, like throughout the show today, we had like a running text thread of like, oh yeah, that was cool, or oh yeah, whatever. But as soon as like the Batman stuff hit, like that text thread went completely silent. Everybody's like, like we stopped talking to each other. And what I did is I I took my iPad into the closet and I shut the door so it'd be completely black and dark, and I paused.
You made your own movie theater.
I made my own movie theater, yeah, because I was like, I don't want anything
Nerd
bothering me.
alert.
I got like a Windex wipe, and I like wiped off the iPad so there wouldn't be any glare on the iPad. I wanted
It's got Nora's fingerprints all over it. She's
yeah,
watching
exactly. 'Cause
SpongeBob.
we watched Teen. She watched Teen Titans Go. She doesn't watch
There we go.
SpongeBob, but yeah. So I wanted to be as nice as possible, and but yeah, I was, I was very impressed with the trailer. As you guys have been saying, like Micah hit on a good point. I think this film is already showing in the 2 trailers that we've gotten that the action is reinforced by the character stuff, and like I don't care what happens to me. You see Batman get shot like a ton, and that was in the first trailer. That's a ton in the second trailer.
Yeah.
Doesn't even
That
flinch.
scene that Micah talked about, I thought that was really cool too. It was almost like a riff off of what we saw in The Dark Knight Rises, where him and Catwoman are on the way to see Bane, and you see Batman illuminated by the lights. But this is like another level of that, like in terms of story construction and stuff. Like, it's great. Like the whole trailer, Batman is I think I've even seen THR already talk about this, and and Matt Reeves talked about it in the really nice behind the scenes thing before the trailer launched, about like how Batman in this movie is a force. Like, people are scared to death of this guy. And you hear that commentary from Oswald in the movie too. And just as soon as you get to the end of the movie and you're upside down, and oh no, Oswald thought he was going to get away from this, and he's not, and the Batman is walking toward him. I was just like, there's going to be moments in this movie that I think are going to just get people just on the edge of their seat screaming. Like, because I saw the first trailer in IMAX just really recently.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And it was before No Time to Die, and the sound was like all front, and as soon as the rain starts, the entire theater fills up. So, and it does so I feel like the whole movie is going to be shots like that. And one of my favorite shots is when when the Batman's on top of that tower and he jumps off, and people are like, what's he going to do? And he like jumps off, and it seems like they might even put like, it looks like GoPros almost in terms of like the realness of seeing Batman fall down this tower and swoop through things. Like, I don't know. It just the film has a lot going for it on characters, action, visuals. Anybody that's at this point saying it's just a dark, gritty reboot of a reboot is like, what are you talking about? Like, Batman is the dark, gritty superhero, and this is just taking all that to the next level. Finding what they've found, all signs point to they have found a way to take everything that makes Batman endurable and tell a new story with it and launch it into the future. Can I
say 2 things? One thing, because Ryan picked up or mentioned the beforehand with Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson and Zoe, and he said again that, and I thought this, it was like Bruce Wayne's not fully formed yet.
Right.
The Bruce Wayne we know, and that there's really no difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne yet, and he's still finding his way. And that, and also the Batman Catwoman stuff. I mean, that was pretty. Yeah. So that's
for
all
me.
I got right now.
The Reeves quote that really stood out to me was he said Bruce Wayne is a reckless rock star in a decaying manner. Yeah, like, that's just like, I'm like, wow, it's again so psychological. And Bill, you hit on this. I think this movie will rival Batman Returns, and just romantically for Batman Catwoman, it just will.
There was a lot of Batman of Bruce Selina in this.
Yeah,
there was. That was one of the things for me.
That's what it really took. I took away the most from this trailer. Is just like there's a lot of Bat-Cat in this trailer. Like it's almost like a subplot of the movie is just their romantic.
That was more than I thought. More than I thought it would be.
I didn't expect it.
And partnership, apparently. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This feels very much like the Alleytown Catwoman that's being written right now in comic books.
Yeah, and Zoe Kravitz talked
in the community.
Yeah, and the behind the scenes part, Zoe Kravitz talked about how like they have these common points of how she's emerging as Catwoman, and he is as Batman, and the social injustices they're trying to address, like they're meeting in the middle. I'm very interested to see where those splits start to happen, because that's kind of what is core to the Batman.
Because it's like when she says to him, she's like, "Who are you under the mask?" And he's like, he's thinking. He doesn't even know.
He's like, "I'm
right?
Batman."
You know,
he
that
doesn't
shot's
know.
very interesting. You could see him thinking about that question.
All right, so Pete, everyone who listens to our show and anyone who's ever listened to you on BOF or anywhere, they know how big a fan you are of the Penguin. So we got a little bit more of him in this trailer.
Oh
so
man, I just
talk about the Penguin. Go ahead.
There's so much Penguin. Wow, Red Sox took a 9-0 lead. There's so much Penguin today in general. I mean, just everywhere, from video games to the duck in that Batwheels thing. But like,
that's true.
This is like one hell of a just typical. Like, he feels very Arkham to me. Just kind of like in the club. He's sleazy. You know, it feels almost like a definitive version of the Penguin. Really, like a modern day Penguin. I can't like. I love it when he tells him to, like, what does he say? Like, relax, sweetheart, or whatever it is. Like, that line's great. And then we mentioned, like, he thinks he gets the best of Batman, and then the Batmobile makes that just amazing through the fire like entrance, and he just rams him. And like, you could just see the fear in the Penguin as he's hanging upside down in his driver's seat. I can't wait to see what Colin Farrell does with this role. Like, he doesn't look like Colin Farrell. Apparently, he's not in the movie a hell of a whole lot. So it's like, is this, you're wondering like what else is there? Watch it, sweetheart. I love Oswald. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's back in full force. And this is amazing. I'm speechless on everything. Like, a lot of, like, Haas, you want to compare, you mentioned that the film, like, there's certain shots, like the tunnel scene, and you mentioned Bane and everything. Like, to me, there's a lot of War of the Planet of the Apes in here. Like, I see like Woody Harrelson like going in there after the apes.
Oh, that's his DP. Like,
it feels so much similar to that movie.
It feels real. It feels real. Yeah.
Just the way the bat, and even like simple things, just the way Gotham looks. Like Gotham, like this is probably like the closest we've gotten to like 89 Gotham. It just looks decrepit and miserable and decaying, and like the city's falling apart. And like, I love how the bat signal has shutters on it. Like, that's something.
Yeah, that was really new. I want to talk about. Yeah, that's true.
And just everything. Gordon looked fantastic. Jeffrey Wright looked amazing in a couple shots he was there. And there's nothing about this trailer I don't like, to be honest. Like, and I hope it's the last one I get until March. Like, I don't need anything else. Just keep it all secret.
That's what Micah told me. I don't need any more. I don't need any more.
Do a couple TV spots and a Super Bowl spot, but that's it. Like, we're talking like 30 seconds max. Just I don't need anything else.
Talk about constructing a hero. Like, was it in the trailer or the BTS thing where they showed shots of Bruce having a journal of like bat logos and stuff, and there were some without the ears and some with the ears, and so it's really cool to see the evolution of this, like how he's trying to like construct this thing. And it's like not like Batman Begins, like or the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's like a completely different thing. It's so cool how they're able to kind of take this and make it new. And the bat signal, we've been talking on Twitter a little bit, Bill and everybody, about the bat signal, because that just came into the conversation a few days ago when those Lego sets dropped. The first thing I pointed out was like, oh, there's not really any spoilers except for, hey, the bat signal's in this movie. That was like the first thing I pointed out. And like 2 days later, there's the little tease with the bat signal. And to me, it feels like it's not just like a lot of things. This movie is not just there because it's part of Batman. Like, they're building it not for the Nolan movies. It was more like everything has a reason, but for the Reeves movie, it feels like everything is connected to Gotham. Like, it's all born out of like this city needing Batman to operate.
Yeah, the biggest thing I noticed from this trailer, we got in the first one too, and I was wondering what this one was going to show, and it's even darker than I thought it would be. Like, it's very, very dark in this one. Even the scenes that have light in it, it's still dark. So like, the tone is set right away. And I was wondering how what he was gonna show that would top the first one, because again, we saw that last year and we just wanted something from the film, right? So we were just like, okay, and it was so great. I was like, all right, well, will this trailer do that? And it did, man. I mean, it gave you so much more to go with. You guys hit on such great points. Micah brought up the psychological angle. Steve, I just put it in here. He brought up that it had a 7 vibe. All of that stuff, you kind of get that same feeling. And the very beginning with the cup, with the question mark, I mean, come on, like, that was just,
who called it? When it panned up, he was like, it's going to be a question mark.
Yeah,
it
was
Are they
awesome.
going to do it?
It was awesome. It was more than I expected. And yeah, now I agree with you guys. I don't need to see another one. You could keep all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, to the
Because
side.
again, like
just wait.
you go back to BVS and like they pretty much released the whole movie in trailers, right? Like all the major plot points in that movie were kind of teased really early on, and it took away from the cinematic experience. But I just, oh man, like I was sitting there just like in awe the whole time. Really, just this thing just looks just rough. You know,
This was something. This was something I was thinking too while watching it. So I'll just, since he brought it up, I'll just bring it up here. Do you guys think a Robin could work in this world?
In like 10 years? I have no idea. 4 movies from now? He's so young. Like Robin's,
right? Like,
Robin's, he's, you know, I don't know. He hasn't even been procreated yet. Let's be honest. He's not. You know.
Well, I mean, what I'll say is like this is a universe that's built to evolve and built to grow. Like,
right. Like we're already getting.
It's not just this movie.
Right?
We're getting shows. Like, you know. So I think there's room for interpretations of lots of things. So like, but that's the thing. I don't think they're gonna do it just to do it. They'll do, if they do a Robin, it'll probably have a serious like, well, what the hell happens when you throw a kid into like this war zone city? Like, sure, see what happens. You know.
We also got some clips from some of the fight scenes. Like there's a couple of scenes in the trailer where you see actually Batman and Catwoman them fighting and then fighting each other. Just from the quick stuff you saw of that, what'd you think? What did you think of the action stuff that we got in the trailer? Micah, you could take it.
Okay, I thought the action, I think Haas said that the action kind of evokes a lot of the tone of the film and like what the character's motivation. And I think the action really showed like Batman is kind of, he seems mythological. Like he's just walking around, taking shots left and right. These guys really feel like they can't take him down, like they can't kill him. So it kind of builds up the mythos of Batman and how terrifying he is. And I just think, you know, it seems like there's the themes of this film are just so thick, like just thick as syrup. Like just watching this film or watching the trailer, you could just tell like everything that you're going to see in the film. And I really think every single thing, like especially the action, like evokes like how dangerous this Batman is. And he, like I said, like he just doesn't care.
Right. Another big thing from the first film, obviously, from the first trailer, a lot of the things we saw that were kind of shocking and new to people. And one of those was definitely the Batmobile. It was not a traditional one. A lot of people were kind of iffy about the look. So I'll ask you, Lauer, because I know you with your Legos and you have all your Batmobiles and you get everything from there. So
he's got one.
Right? Yeah, he's gonna bring it. There you go.
What are you talking about? Okay, what do you got?
So what did you? We saw a little bit more of the Batmobile. What was your feel? What's your feeling on it now? Is it still the same? Is it?
It's still the same. When it comes to vehicles in general, I'm function over style always. That's why I think the Tumbler is my favorite, because that makes sense to me as Batman needs a tank to do the ass kicking that he does.
Right.
And so I mean, I love most of the Batmobiles. Don't get me wrong. So this one just seems like he needs something fast that has a lot of power, and that sucker, it purrs. It sounds great. It seems, I don't know, seems like perfect for what Matt Reeves is going for. Sure. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Pattinson's gonna bling it up for the second one. He's gonna put some diamonds on it in the shape of a bat symbol or something.
Get some rims.
Yeah, some neon lights, you know, to go along the side and everything. But the car for me, I mean, accumulated, we've seen 7 seconds of the car in the 2 trailers. But so far, I mean, I like it. It seems to fit with the story, and I think that's, as long as it doesn't become a total distraction and take you out of the movie, then what more can you ask for, you know?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the things that a lot of people still haven't come around on. So I was just interested to see what
Kowalski. They must have read some Neil Adams
yeah.
comics. They must have skipped that whole run of comic books.
So it's very muscle car from the early 70s, and it's
Neil Adams Batmobile. Yeah, on steroids.
Yeah. It's like most good Batmobiles. It matches the Batman of that story too, and it's its own character in and of itself, and it's got room to grow and evolve, just like the Batman of that story.
Yeah. Mad Max. But that's what I mean, and that's not to say that I don't love the '89 stylistic version. You know, like I love that car. I like the Batman Forever one and stuff. It's just, it seems for this,
and we're getting a motorcycle. We're getting a Batcycle.
So
those stylized Batmobiles wouldn't, even the Tumbler wouldn't fit in this.
It wouldn't.
In this version of Batman at all.
I agree.
I'm wondering what the state of Wayne Enterprises is now that we mentioned that, right? Just obviously it's something that wasn't really mentioned in the Burton movies, and then Schumacher kind of did his thing, and then obviously Nolan as well. But I'd like to see what the state of like Bruce Wayne's personal life is. I'm curious about that.
Well, the Batcave is a Wayne.
Yes,
thing,
terminus.
right?
Yeah,
It's
Wayne
like
Terminal.
It looks like an abandoned like subway station or something, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And we finally got an actual look of Andy Serkis's Alfred as well.
Glad you brought that up.
Prim and proper.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Pete, because this is the youngest one we've gotten, right? Like this is the youngest version of Alfred that I think we've gotten in any of the films.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see. It gives you kind of a good, more of a scope of what time period this is in Batman's life, as if you didn't know. Obviously Reeves in the I guess the setup for the trailer, he said that he mentioned year one. So like he mentioned some of the influences in the first trailer last year. I remember he talked about ego being part of the driving the story. So I think it was just really cool to see Andy Serkis's Alfred. I know I'm not supposed to mention this show, but Gotham had a young version of Alfred as well. So this is the second time we're getting a.
All of a sudden, Pete just drops out. He just fades to black.
The stream breaks down again.
I'm gonna go watch Batwoman.
Hey, we probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Gotham. So. Hey,
what?
It was my idea.
oh, I get you. Straight out of Gotham. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. That's when Pete and I started doing a show for Gotham, and
I thought you were gonna say the TV series Gotham did not pave the way for Matt Reeves.
No.
That's not just this program.
So I asked Micah this before, and I'll just throw this out there to everyone else. Is there anything we didn't get that you were hoping to see, or
Falcone? That's the only thing I thought.
Okay.
But like, I'm totally fine. Like seeing him, seeing him in theaters. I don't. It doesn't bauder me, but just a little bummed out.
I'm just intrigued by what they didn't show. Like it says more about like that. There's a lot more left. Like Lauer said, we don't see the Riddler's face in this, and we saw him in the first trailer, but they consciously kept him back from the second one. So there's more to discover in this film, which is great.
Anyone else? Lauer, Bill?
I was just thinking, do you think that means with Falcone not being in the film, do you think that means more, or in the trailer, I'm sorry, do you think that means more or less about the film? Like we'll see more of him, or he won't be in the film that often, Pete?
I'm not really sure. I don't really know what kind of role he has, to be honest, like in just terms of Gotham City at this point in time. Obviously I feel like Penguin reports to him kind of, right, in a way. Like
and Catwoman could be connected to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see. I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. So
Falcone had a big role in Batman Begins, so it's completely. I'm sure it's different than Begins. So I think Pete and everyone who mentioned it was spot on. It's just he may have a small role. It may be as a transition from Falcone to the Penguin. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just speculating.
And one random thing
Lounge. Do you think the Iceberg Lounge exists?
Well, I think that's where Oswald gets his ass kicked.
It's funny because it existed in the Gotham Knights game. Someone tweeted a picture out with Penguin saying it. That was one of the things that I put in my mind because we were doing the Iceberg Lounge tonight. I'm like, oh, look at that. He mentioned it in the they mentioned it in the Gotham Knights panel. So the other big trailer, I think, or news we wanted to see from today, at least I know I did, was from The Flash. Anything we would get from The Flash. Because we know obviously Keaton's in it. So that trailer or footage, or I don't even know what to call it. Ezra Miller said it wasn't a trailer, but it felt like one to me. So I guess it was.
First look,
The first thing I noticed is that it literally does have something from each part of the multiverse that we've seen before. That first house you see is the house from The Flash, is Barry's house from The Flash, the TV show. Someone brought up that the Batcave he's in looks like Bale's Batcave. There's other things in the trailer that obviously lend and show you that, but of course the big thing was when we saw Keaton, the back of Keaton's Batman's head. So just really quickly, each one of you could touch on your feelings on the trailer. Bill, I'll start with you.
Well, since none of y'all were born when Batman 89 came out.
I was.
I was born in '86.
I was.
Oh, he's talking about you, Micah.
What? Nah.
Why do you think I'm here?
I love I love the voiceover with Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music from Batman 89. You know, the Danny Elfman little bit trickling in there, and I as someone who is not a huge fan of, well, I'm not a fan of like Batman mixing it up with superheroes and all this stuff, but the fact that Keaton's coming back kind of overweighs everything. And I loved the you're in, you're out, or whatever they say, and you hear him stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that maybe he hasn't been Batman for a while, and all of a sudden he's presented with this situation, whatever the situation is. And I don't know what the situation is.
I think you're right.
And he's got to be Batman again. You know,
well, I mean, the house is all dusty. Ezra's got to turn the power on.
Yeah,
there's a tarp on the car.
Yeah,
it seems like there's a random cow. Like it almost seems like Bruce has kind of lost his way.
Yeah,
like the house is in disarray. Alfred's probably long gone. For me, like the most interesting thing was that second flash. Like we were questioning what that flash with the Batman logo, it looked like it was spray painted. Where'd that come from? Who was that?
Yeah.
Apparently it's another Flash character, and there's just so many. I mean, there's so much Batman, but there's so much. Obviously, there's so much Flash on there. Just I'm just ecstatic. Just the way that trailer opens, as I said in the top of the show, just those Elfman notes and that voiceover just set the tone. You could be
clear.
anywhere at any point in time. Why are you saving this world? And he clearly, that's Nora Allen. It's obviously it's about mom, as it always is with the Flash. So.
I'm sorry. I just say this real quick. Throw it out there to y'all. It's very clear that they're hanging their hat on the Keaton Batman for this film. And it is. I know Pete's a Flash fan. This is the Flash movie, but it's kind of a Keaton thing almost now.
I think they're definitely hoping he brings in a certain group of people to watch it. You're right. I don't think everyone would be so into
old. He'll bring in old ass people like me,
right?
For sure. Yeah,
people who don't like Batman and other superheroes. But it's like again, though, it is very faithful to Flashpoint, right? Like Thomas Wayne Batman is basically the Batman that's swapped out of the story for Keaton's Batman, and it just makes perfect sense to bring in that extra audience, and probably people who saw Ezra Miller's 2 appearances, in DC films and weren't big fans of those movies. This gives them another reason to be like, okay, well, Keaton's in it. I've said this before. People are really talking about Keaton coming back. I've had more people recently talk to me about Keaton coming back as Batman than they have the actual Batman movie. So I think there's something to that. I think Keaton is a draw coming up, and this probably. We can all thank Spider-Man Homecoming for this. I think that really proved that Keaton can kick ass. He can be a badass, and people will still go see it. So I think that's a big part of it as well. Like his recent successes, are amazing.
What was so cool about it is that Batman isn't just a cameo or whatever. He's entrenched in a lot of this movie and the lore of this movie to the Batman centricness of the trailer, plus to hear Keaton. Like I'm not mad that we didn't get to see Keaton, but we got to hear his voice and all it takes to get me to buy into like Batman with some other people is to hear like Keaton like voice over it. I'm like, okay, I'm in, so there's so much speculation that can be made from this that there is a second Flash, and if you pay attention and compare that the second Flash we see in the trailer to the Instagram post, that's a Flash that has a red spray painted Batman Returns upper suit that has the Flash logo painted on it. So is this like the Flash of the Keaton world that the Snyder Flash has found his way into or something? Like, is that his Robin in that world? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, so like that second Flash is connected to the Keaton world somehow, or something. or like they need a second Flash suit. Oh, I got this old suit.
I mean, you even see him spray paint his boots, you know? Like,
yeah,
that's a
right.
big part of the
Exactly.
trailer.
So, and then the shot of the cowl. So if you pause on that, it's a Keaton Batman costume and Keaton cowl that's bloody. Like when Keaton's Batman or Bruce like has the voiceover of like, you've changed the future. Could that even mean that Keaton's Batman died? And like the future that Barry Allen changed had created this world where Bruce is Batman again. He's still alive. Like, why am I here? Why are we saving this world? Like, there's so much in the story that
Barry
you don't
messed
know
up the
about.
timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And like that could be a result of it.
So Larry, you've been quiet. Tell us what you're never quiet. So go ahead. Tell us about your take on the Flash trailer.
This is
Or
your
footage,
gig, so I'm trying to zip it. But the Flash footage, I'm glad that they showed something.
Right.
And I wanted Keaton's presence in there somehow. But I think as I've been on social hours with Bill before, and he's asked how much, if any, that I'd want to see, and I've just said I do not want to see I don't want to see their first meeting. I don't want to see Keaton's first appearance in the movie or anything like that. Like in any trailer for the movie, save it for the theater. And this was great. Of like, this is just a tease because we are 13 months out from the movie. We don't need to see a trailer. But like his narration, which all of us, I'm sure, and everybody listening picked up on right away, that's Keaton. And then just a fun tease that's kind of giving you an idea of just like what the vibe of this thing's what it's gonna kind of feel like. And then we knew we were in the cave, and then just seeing, you know, the cowl behind the cowl, it's like that's all we needed to see. And then that got me pumped enough as it is. And Haas, of course, you found the gift for that right away, which was wonderful. And then the tease of the Batmobile, that's the Batmobile underneath the tarp.
No
that's
doubt.
that's great too, because it is like I laughed audibly afterward of they cut, and then you just hear his reaction, and the tarp's been pulled and everything. And I was very pleased with it. I think Ezra Miller is a weird dude. Flat out.
Well, he's
an odd duck.
That ensemble he had before the trailer was very interesting.
Yes.
I was like, dude, where do you buy your clothes?
Can you imagine the conversation? This is what I'm wearing before this thing. You cannot stop me. I'm Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
That's how he signs off everything. I'm Ezra Miller.
I feel like the Flash will go through some sort of like growth processes. I feel like he had maybe 2 different suits in that trailer. You know, like there's one suit where like he's in front of the house and it's kind of glowing and everything, and there's kind of like one on the close up in his face, and I was like, I don't know if I like this cowl a little bit. Like I got to kind of let it grow on me and see it a little bit more in action. But I'm just, there's a lot in there, and none of us have touched.
There was like an old school Flash suit at some point right there. Yeah.
So there's definitely, and maybe that's like a timeline thing, like as he's running through the timeline, screwing things up, his suit changes. I have no idea.
Or he builds it to help him go back in time or something. Like there's plenty of reasons.
Yeah, we got a little Sasha Kaye, right?
I was going to say we saw Sasha Kaye.
She was in there.
Supergirl.
Nice. Just one
she didn't
shot,
say anything.
I think, but
I'm curious as how they, just from a tactical standpoint, like how do you film this movie with two Ezras? Like I was like, that was like, okay, that's not like different. That's clearly Ezra Miller.
As weird as he is as a person, and I mean, I know obviously we've heard stuff about him off screen. I actually like most of his work I actually do like. So I'm looking forward to this movie as his film, right? I mean, obviously everyone else is going to be in it, but it's technically his film. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to go. Micah, as the youngest one in here, the Keaton stuff, does that pull for you too? Is that
No,
enough?
I'll be honest. I was going to say, me being younger, like I don't feel that wave of nostalgia when Keaton walks on the screen. Because, I mean, I like Keaton as Batman, but he's not my Batman. I grew up, with surprisingly George Clooney and even Val Kilmer, but mainly Christian Bale has like kind of solidified himself as my Batman. So I was thinking while you guys were talking, like, what if 20, 30 years from now, Christian Bale comes back as Batman? That's what I'm imagining. That's how I would feel. Like that doesn't seem real to me that Christian Bale would ever come back. And I'm sure that's how y'all felt whenever Keaton turned down the role in the early 90s and Kilmer came on and then Clooney and then, everyone else. But yeah, I'm sure I would feel the same if Bale came back. But, I am very excited. I don't think, seeing Keaton come back again is really interesting. And honestly, I didn't really like Ezra Miller's take on Flash in the Schneiderverse. But Yeah, I'm excited. I love the suit. I think the suit looks a lot better, honestly. Like, it looked like he was in an astronaut, like spacesuit in the Justice League film. This one looks a lot more simple. I like how it glows. I think it looks. I just think it looks better personally, and hopefully for me personally, he can redeem himself, because I know talking to a lot of people of my age, they said they didn't really like this version of Flash. He kind of seemed like DC was trying to make him like their version of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in a way.
Yes,
and
fair. That's fair.
I don't know. I'm excited to see this. It seems like a redemption not only for Michael Keaton, to come back into the role, but Ezra Miller as well. So I just don't know how far they're going to go into the multiverse. I think they might do a lot more than we think.
Oh yeah.
What if they really go all 89 with it? And
because they can just do whatever they want. I mean, it's kind of like an easy excuse to be like, oh yeah, this person's in here now, and the Flash guy that was in that '90s TV show is in here for some reason. Like,
that's kind of how I feel about No Way Home. They're just throwing everybody in that movie.
Yeah.
Why not?
It does seem like, you're right. They're really doing this to just do whatever they want afterwards. So it doesn't even matter what happens really. This is just all
scuttlebutt. Like the movie is kind of supposed to be
a relaunch,
cleansing period, right? Like
I was going to say palate cleanser.
Yeah, palate cleanser.
So the one Batman we did not see was, of course,
Clooney.
Ben Affleck's that everyone knows is going to be in this movie. Do you think that was
gosh.
Do you think that was a conscious decision not to show him in this?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. So? Because he is not a focal point of the movie. I don't think in any way. Affleck has said it. Like the trades have said
he helps the transition, but he's not.
Trades have said it that it is a cool way to segue out of the role. That does not mean he's a massive part of the film. Like, it's no secret. It's Keaton. Keaton's probably going to get top billing. Why not? A really big nod to Batman '89.
Finally,
give the main character the second billing. Okay,
he should. Yes, he should get top billing on this film. And I'm sorry, even though I know it's a Flash film, you got Jack Nicholson got top billing.
Did he not get top billing on Returns?
Yeah, he did.
In Returns,
yeah. Oh, in Returns, yeah.
Yeah, Returns was his movie. Yeah.
Come on, give this man.
Keaton's got a back end deal. He's going to make
the Marlon Brando of today now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an interesting thing they didn't, because everyone knows he's in the movie. So I just thought it was interesting that we didn't get anything about him. And I
literally forgot he was in the movie until you just.
I really did not expect to see anything Affleck at all.
Well, I only brought it up because recently he was at the red carpet for that other movie that he did, and they brought it up then. So that's why it was fresh in my mind watching this when we didn't see him. But yeah, I think it was a smart decision not to have him. He's always a controversial figure. Let's put it that way. So
well, I mean, look, I'm one who loved when he was cast, and not a fan of BVS and the whole depiction of Batman. But if this is his cool way to segue out of the role, which he wanted, props to Warner Brothers and Andy Muschietti to allow him to do that. And for sure he's not an ape walking on the ape on the ground for Matt Reeves. Like
he told us he was going to be.
There you go. In 30 years, that Planet of the Apes movie, Affleck's going to be in one of those. So there you go.
So yeah.
All right. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit to the beginning of the FanDome. I don't know if you guys saw the Black Adam stuff, but that was something that I was interested in. I definitely wanted to see because I just think the Dwayne Johnson is great. And he's so charismatic and just awesome. So
loves to wear tight shirts to show off his muscles. My goodness.
So we got a very short. Yeah, if I looked like him, honestly, I would too. But we got a very short clip, and just for me, really quick, I thought it was more brutal than I expected. From what we got, right? So knowing what we know about the film, the characters that are going to be in it, there was a little bit of a teaser beforehand where you saw like Pierce Brosnan, and they had other people in the film, Noah Centineo and all the other people that are playing different characters in it. So that little snip, if any of you were kind of like on the ledge, maybe I don't want to see this film, did that change? Has this changed your mind? Anyone could take it. Go ahead. Let's open.
I've never been on the edge. I want to see this movie.
Same.
And
this
Because you
kinda
were
feels
like
amazing.
Hawkman. Oh, I love Hawkman.
It just solidified a
Just
little
all
bit
of them,
more.
even in that like kind of like little featurette where Brosnan was like, I did Bond for 10 years, and this is totally different than that. It's kind of crazy, and you get that little bit of Dr. Fate's helmet. Just to be honest with you, like I felt like I was kind of like it gave me a lot of Mummy vibes, like Brendan Fraser's Mummy. Like they go into like this tomb area and they unleash this beast, and they gotta like try to figure out how to stop it, kind of thing. Like it's kind of like that, and I was like, but it's like Eric said, it's just brutal. Like these guys are shooting him out with guns, and he catches it with his finger. Like I was like, this is amazing.
Cracks the neck like that. Was nuts.
I was just like, wow. And I don't know what the other characters really like, what their role is. I imagine they're kind of like the defense against Black Adam, but I'm all for it. Anything with The Rock, I go see. Leia, how you doing?
Hey, there she is.
Usually she's snoring.
Yeah.
But I'm pumped. I'm more pumped now. Just seeing him in the suit and just seeing him hover and all that stuff. I thought it was great and just a little wonderful tease.
Yeah,
I'm actually surprised that I don't know if that was longer than the Flash stuff. I almost would have flipped it, I think, a little bit. Expected to see more Black Adam stuff than the Flash movie. And it was just one scene, a brief part of a scene for Black Adam, since they wrapped a little while ago. And that's even coming, 4 or 5 months before the Flash. I feel like we saw a little bit more of the Flash stuff. But, I mean, the Black Adam, it did what it needed to do, I think. Like you said, Eric, if people are on the fence, this is giving you a little bit of a vibe. I think it's going to be a little bit more mature maybe than we expected, but it does, that little vibe right there definitely feels like this could play in the sandbox with Shazam down the line.
It doesn't feel like it's very
too far
in tone
off
with Shazam. It feels like it's on the opposite side of that spectrum. Shazam kind of feels a little bit more fun and lighthearted. This feels like it's more serious.
There was some creepy stuff in Shazam. So
no, there were. Sandberg's got that horror background.
At some point, it's going to be a combination of Black Adam and Shazam, or the real Captain Marvel, as I will always say.
Caught yourself.
Because that's Captain Marvel, Black Adam. I mean, you got to have that at some point. And my main thing is, before I leave, is I'm excited to see the Justice Society in that, and Black Adam, and especially Dr. Fate. So. And Hawkman and all that's cool. I'm a sucker for the old school golden age Justice Society. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Bill. Well, thanks for joining us, man. Hopping on for a while.
Thank you. Yes, I loved it. Excited for the Batman. Excited for Black Adam and the Flash and everything. I thought DC, I love this FanDome thing that DC's doing. I think it's awesome. I really do. So
I'm with you.
Yeah, they're centralizing their own content, which is great.
Yeah,
like the Comic-Con kind of way. So it's great. So that's awesome. So where could people, everyone knows where they could find you, but if you want to run down,
all I've got, I almost say is you can find me on Batman on Film, and you find me everywhere, and then Micah, go Cowboys. Okay.
All right, Bill. Have a good night, man.
All right.
Oh man, it's crazy, man. Like this, I'm gonna call it a convention. I think it's the one thing to come out of COVID that has really kind of been a blessing in disguise to get to kind of like
FanDome.
Forces FanDome. Just really just impressed with everything they're doing, and especially like I get to see it. Like when they release these things on Hall H. I'm not looking at somebody's cell phone video.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
Even as good as phones are these days, I'm happy. Affleck's here. I'm
happy. Explain yourself. Where were you in the Flash
where
presentation?
were you, man? People want to know.
Where's
Wayne's car? So yeah, it was just great to see everything, and just I don't know. I can't complain about anything.
I saw some complaints online from people that I think were I don't want to call people out, but it was people that are used to being able to be at conventions and report on things and get the scoops and stuff like that, like, oh, it was underwhelming, or oh, like it was a little slog or whatever. I'm like, but as someone that has gone to those things like New York Comic Con and got to cover them and kind of got to see both sides of that, like today's FanDome, I felt like it was even better than last year. It was more targeted.
I enjoyed
streamlined.
last year, but cutting it in half was
cutting it in
nice.
half, and
Yeah.
like
But we
like
didn't have a
everything-
lineup either.
Yeah,
Which
like
last year they provided a lineup, and this time
this
they
year
didn't.
it's like, but it is kind of like a convention. Like you don't know what you're going to get. It did feel like there's some panels that are for you. There's some that aren't. There's some downtime built in. There's some, it ebbed and flowed. And like the news flash thing was cool. We're like, we might just jump in at any time with like some cool new announcement. I thought that was really cool. And
it was great. There was Irish West.
Build on it.
Hey,
Yeah.
DC Kids FanDome is on HBO Max. It doesn't seem like anybody knew that was
at
even
the same
happening
time
and is
too.
I had
watching
no
it.
idea.
Difficult. Yeah.
It's on there now, and it's fun for sure. It's got Teen Titans Go Robin. That's kind of your moderator. And I mean, I'm just a little.
Cool.
I'm about a third of the way through it, and they started giving like a good background of Batman. I mean, it's for kids, obviously, but it's a nice gateway of like, hey, Batman, and they use a ton of clips of Brave and the Bold, the animated series, Justice League action. Then they did Batgirl, and they did the same kind of clips, and then DC Superhero Girls. They did Zatanna highlight, Wonder Woman highlight, like.
Well, they did that so the kids have something to watch, so dad and mom can watch the real FanDome.
Exactly, but I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, it's a promotion, but I mean, that's where I sent to you guys that the Caped Crusaders coming in 2023. I hadn't heard any kind of date about that because they did a whole thing on the animated series, which was pretty cool. And yeah, so I mean, that's a little bonus for you to check out if you want to. It's just kind of fun fluff fare.
Caped Crusader was something that really kind of interests me as well. Like. You got a lot of creative power involved in that show. And it's something that could, these are a lot of guys who are usually pulling their own strings, and, it could implode on them if they don't agree with each other. Right.
Yeah. But it was cool to see
outside
Bruce
of Tucker and Tim,
that.
they don't work together a whole lot.
Yeah. But it was cool to see Bruce Timm be like, this, like as a pitch for the show, is like, this is like Batman the Animated Series if we had full creative control. And I was like, oh, like, so I'm sure it will be a lot more adult, and
Batman and Batgirl on every rooftop in Gotham.
No Azzarello. There's no Azzarello. We got Mr. Tucker to tone in Mr. Tim
to reel that in.
So
that part's cool. That Abrams and Reeves, who are BFFs for a long time, and that they both get to have their hand in this too. I think that's a cool mixture of talent right there.
All right, so Craig is asking me this specifically. I'm assuming because I am Aquaman, of course. So I'm assuming that's why he's asking me about this. But yes, I did like the behind the scenes stuff for Aquaman. It looks like I tweeted that I think this movie is going to be the first one just on steroids. It looks like it's going to be bigger, much more going on. What did you guys think of the stuff that we saw? From
you
Aquaman?
may be Aquaman, but I live with Mira. So why don't you just that?
Yeah, no,
someone's gonna get beat up today. I put it on Twitter like this is like Jacques Cousteau through a James Wan lens, like because you got Black Manta and these guys in like these nautical diver outfits. Then they're exploring things, and then you got the monsters of James Wan. Like I was like, this movie looks like so much more intense than the first one we got. And, and we all know Momoa loves his environmental stuff. And he mentioned like that's kind of like a plot of the movie. And we know he had a big part in this one. So it seems like just a perfect blend of everything that we got the first time. But it's also like just on, like you guys said, on steroids.
Yeah, it really was. It seems like it's going to be much bigger than the first one, which was just so much fun. I thought that the first one was just so much fun. So yeah, so Craig, thanks for the question, man. But yes, I did enjoy all of that, and I'm looking forward to the second one.
And that cartoon looked amazing. Like I haven't watched it yet.
Aquaman cartoon looked really cool.
I was like, wow, it is so self-aware. It was like it's just making fun of everything that made fun of Aquaman, like all that robot chicken stuff, and it's like just aware of like Aquaman's history in general. And I was really impressed. That might be the Aquaman thing that I think I like the most out of FanDome today is that cartoon.
Oh.
Well, and it's crazy because like a lot of people get on that animation style, but I was like, I don't like the writing was so good that it didn't bother me at all.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it's available right now, right? Didn't it drop on the 14th?
Yeah, it's already out.
Yeah,
So
part one, I think.
For me, it's a little telling that we're 2 days into it being available, and we hang in some nerdy circles, and I have to remind myself of like, oh wait, that's out. Like usually with this kind of stuff, we're seeing
when was the
people
last time you
whether,
had this much content to watch? Like,
But
I'm
I mean-
constantly 2 weeks behind on TV shows.
but it's DC.
But were you
Like-
guys singing I Talk to Fish after the thing, the song?
No.
Because I really was. It was in my head, and I was singing I Talk
I
to
was-
Put
Fish.
it on my
was-
Spotify playlist.
Yeah, there you go.
I was replaying that King Shark music video a lot, to be honest. if we're going to talk about fish music,
Yeah,
that's what I was playing.
that was pretty cool too. I would have.
That was good.
But we
Bird.
got so far. I know Hostage got to leave soon, and I know Micah, you review games as well. So I'm gonna let you guys talk about the Gotham Knights stuff that we saw.
Oh, this is what I want to hear.
So you guys go ahead. Micah, I'll let you go first. Haas, you could talk about the technical stuff because that's your thing. So
Okay, yeah. I'm very cautiously optimistic about this game. I still don't understand.
Which one?
Well, I honestly both of them, but more.
Okay.
I would say more into Gotham Knights. I don't really understand what this game is yet. I was hoping to see like a gameplay dive where like one of the creative directors or the gameplay designer would come in and talk about like, okay, this is how the game works. We don't really get that. We just get a deeper dive into how the Court of Owls works within the story. But I just know after WB Montreal made Arkham Origins in 2013, it's been a long time since they've released a game, longer than normal for most developmental cycles. So it's just, and at the end of that game of Arkham Origins, I don't know if you guys finished it or not, but they teased a Suicide Squad game, like they were going to make it. So it seems weird. I don't know what was going on with that, where WB or whoever was in charge kind of almost swapped WB and Rocksteady as their roles, where Rocksteady took on the Suicide Squad game, and then WB Montreal kind of did their own thing. I know there were rumors for a long time they were doing a new Batman reboot game, which would have been, I think, a really interesting. But I still don't understand what's going on with this game. I don't know if it's going to be like DC's live service type of game, which I'm very afraid of. I'm kind of scared of something like that, or if it's going to be more just kind of like a 2-player co-op story game. I still don't really understand what it is, but I am intrigued for both of them. More for Suicide Squad. I think that looks really good. I'm a huge Rocksteady fan. I think they're going to nail it, whatever that is. I'm pretty confident in that, especially after watching the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Haas. Yeah.
Oh no. I thought the both looks we got at the games were really cool. It's cool. It's nice at this point that we know what both studios are working on, and both games are hopefully coming out next year. Gotham Knights was actually supposed to come out this year and got delayed until 2022. And I have a feeling that Suicide Squad might get delayed further, until
They didn't
later,
tell us any release dates, so
no, it's just a blanket 2022 for both.
Yeah.
So, which is super common for game development.
okay.
And so we'll see. I mean, games are huge these days, and I think that's probably, to Micah's point, one reason why it took so long. Anytime there's a franchise change and like studio changes and new hardware, new tech, and new platforms and things like that, that can just make development go super long. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were other projects that both studios were trying to work on, or maybe even started, that will happen before these iterations of things. And so sometimes that's just how things happen. I feel like I was more impressed. I think I had more to. I wasn't super sold on Suicide Squad with the first look last time, because it was mostly just like, an announcement with CG stuff, but there's a lot of like in-game footage this time, and it felt like it was a lot less of a departure from the Arkhamverse like aesthetic and storyline than I thought it would be. So I was really glad to see all that. And so both trailers focused on things from a story perspective, and that was kind of like, I'm not surprised that they did that for a show like FanDome, because FanDome is more about that. It's not like a gaming conference or whatever. It's to get people invested in like the properties and the things that are coming out. So there's plenty of time for more gaming focused events. And as close and a lot of the time, like that at this point, it's almost like the movies. It's like they just need people to get on board with like the game itself as a thing. I think closer to release date is when we'll start to see like more like gameplay and more nitty gritty type stuff. But I mean, it's interesting because we actually saw more gameplay from Gotham Knights at its initial reveal last time.
Yeah,
but,
we did.
you know, but everything in the last preview we had a lot with the creative team also. So it seems like they were pretty transparent about like what the game is, and so it is like a story driven thing that can be co-op, and being able to be a co-op game with like Bat family members, that just sounds amazing. I don't feel like, you know, some things that have been like rug pulley with other games recently. I think like Marvel's Avengers is kind of a good example where like they people thought it was one game and it came out and it's kind of, you know, microtransactions, yes or no kind of thing.
I feel like no one was happy with that game.
Yeah, it kind of was a little.
It was.
That's my biggest worry. I would say
it was pretty divisive. So I don't think I honestly feel like they're trying to do right by the property. Like they know how much is riding on it. I don't think like tacking on some sort of like monetary scheme, it hopefully is not in the cards for them, because they have more. I think Warner Brothers does. They don't need to put all their eggs in one basket for a live service for that game. Like they have other stuff like Batman's and Fortnite. Like they have mobile games. They don't need to like hang their hat on it. And for me to see this focus so much on story and like have like Scott Snyder and Capullo talk about like what they're doing, like it makes me a lot more you know, excited for this game to see like and then they talked about how it's a like more open world and everything. So I feel like it's in good hands, and they're trying to build up their own. What's cool is now it's like we've got the Arkhamverse, but now Gotham Knights is going to also be its own. They're trying to have two franchises that they can like build up and have more story for and everything. So I think it's looking cool, and hopefully it'll end up being, you know, a game that's.
I like the horror
nice
element they're really playing with the Court of Owls too, which
I
think that was definitely a strength of the source material. So I'm really glad that's what they're doing with this part.
Our friend all the way from Japan. Thanks for watching,
Ian. Did you sleep, bro? What's going on? But to piggyback off Haas and Lauer, just the fact that this Gotham Knights game is getting the Capullo and Scott Snyder seal of approval really kind of. That was really kind of, you know, impressed me a little bit. You know, like you're talking about two guys who created the Court of Owls. That's their baby, and to think that like these game people, you know, they're creating a story that's well crafted, and you know, just again full support of the creators. That's really impressive to me. Suicide Squad bummed me out a little bit just because I felt they did my man Oswald a little dirty. You know,
that was so funny. That was so
good. It was great. It was good. It was
a good capper.
It was. I hope to God his head doesn't blow off. I'm like, come on, don't kill Ozzy for me. Don't do that.
That was really funny, yeah.
But it was funny. But it feels in tone with that. That game feels like it's straight out like James Gunn's movie. Like it almost feels like a quasi sequel, right? It just feels that bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play games as much as I used to, but I always play the titles. Obviously,
you're always playing Injustice
for the heroes. No, I haven't played in a while actually. That's another thing we could talk about, but I know these guys have to go, so I want to let you guys you know, send your socials out, tell people where you're at, what you're up to. Micah, we'll start with you.
Dark over there.
Go ahead,
okay,
Micah.
Yeah. You can find me on YouTube at Coloneh Broadcasting. It's COLONEH. I know it's hard to pronounce, but you know, it's unique. You just find me there. So thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for hopping on, man. It's good to finally meet you, actually. I haven't met you yet, so it's good to finally meet you.
Yeah. I forgot to show everyone my beer. I know I showed the first time around.
Yeah. Nice.
It's about time Micah got some love. Usually Jake gets all the love around here, you know? He's always the spawn that gets talked about.
So. All right, brother. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, for real.
All right. Go ahead, Lauer.
Yeah, let me leave. I thought you were gonna kick me out. I'll just leave.
Yeah, I thought you were kicking him out. That's why I just got silent.
He's gone. All right, now we can talk bad about him.
All right, that son of a bitch. Let me tell you,
Lauer got fired. First of all, I can't see you. You're about as dark as the Batman.
What happened?
Hey,
I like the Halloween vibe in the background though. With the
I don't pay my bill. I don't get lights after a certain amount of time.
Wow. Oh geez.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
okay.
We got special effects and everything today, guys. Look at that.
I won't be able to see, but so you can follow me on
the blackest eyes.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thanks for let me join the party, fellas, with my Mountain Dew and everything.
Yeah, no, it was Yeah, it was cool having you on. Oh, we haven't
Giving
had you
Lego
on in a
Lawrence a
while, so-
platform. I appreciate that the most. We don't talk about him enough. People don't talk about him enough.
Do you want to give
my
a quick
plug?
Yeah, quick plug about what's going on with the Batman Book Club?
There we
and
go. The Batman BC.
The next time
the
Pete's
Batman
not
Book
going to be
Club.
on it.
The Batman Book Club, a podcast exploring the Dark Knight. Yeah, we're halfway through the month of spooky Batman stories.
Yes.
Haas and Pete have already been on talking some good ones. Next up is our Minnesotan friend Garrett Grev, that little rascal, and then Justin Kowalski's the main event, and then of course Pete will be back on for the monthly wrap up. But follow the Batman Book Club anywhere you listen to podcasts, and sometimes on YouTube. And send all complaints to @FinalE33. Anything that you're unhappy with in life, send it to the Aquaman right there.
Anything in life.
Anything.
Right.
You stubbed your toe walking your dog today? Send a message to the complaint department, Eric Holzmann.
If you send it to Straight OG, Pete will see it, but he'll just forward it to me, so it's fine.
Wait, how do I?
I might
There we
print it
go.
out and frame
Over
it.
Over there. On that screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. All
Yeah,
right, man.
and
Thanks
so
for
I'm just gonna
hopping
fade away into I'm gonna fade away into the darkness. Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, so
Thanks for
that's
being
how
here,
you.
man.
That's what you were doing. Okay. All right. Well, now that we got the real Ryan.
So Haas, can you stay a little while or you need to go?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's fine.
So I wanted to talk about. Let me switch it. Yeah, I'll highlight myself for now. I wanted.
You got the biggest head.
Yeah, I do. It's by far the biggest head. So, just really quickly, a couple of the other things that we saw today that we didn't discuss yet. For maybe the CW shows, I know we got something about the Flash early on that he's got golden boots. I know Justin was making a big about the golden boots in our group. There was some Batwoman stuff, which I have to say, I had left the show, but I actually liked what I saw today.
Batwoman is just from season 2. Batwoman is just fun. Batwoman is just fun, and like they talked a little bit about the. I am caught up. Like they just premiered their new season. The whole shtick this season is, it's like the whole like buddy cop thing where like Alice has to work with Batwoman to get all the
and Montoya
Batvillain stuff, and Montoya from Gotham.
Yeah,
it's like
Miss
it's part of
Cartagena is
like
reprising
multiverse kind of deal going on. Like, so that's interesting.
So go ahead, Pete.
No, I think Batwoman is just really continuing the momentum that it had last season. It drastically got so much better than season 1. Season 1 is absolutely dreadful, but I thought season 2 was leaps and bounds better. And I think Batwoman and Batwing are kicking ass and taking names, and it's fun and it's enjoyable. They got to work on that Batwing helmet though. That thing looks just like Optimus Prime. But I'm enjoying it, and Javicia Leslie is fantastic in the role, and she's just her personality is great, and it just shines through the screen. And as she was hosting her little segment today, her and Rachel, who plays Alice, were just you could see the chemistry there, and you could see they enjoy working together, and you could see that it's a good combination.
Yeah, I didn't watch the show, but like I said, it was on in the background, and I was looking at it, and I've always loved Alice. I always think she's
amazing.
Great. So but from what I saw, I might actually go back and give it a watch again. So that's something I might.
Eric's coming for my review job. I took it from him, and now he's going to take it back.
Something I might dip my toes in. So yes, Craig brings up a couple things. I'm going to first put Shazam because we didn't really talk about Shazam. So the first thing I noticed was Asher Angel is very old now.
He's like 87. Yeah.
So
yeah, like he said Shazam, and I was like, I don't see a difference between you and
Zachary Levi.
Really? Zachary Levi's got some grays, bro.
Yeah.
And I got distracted at this point. So honestly, did they show anything but just the behind the scenes stuff that we?
No, it was just that from what I remember.
Behind the scenes
but
stuff?
I was distracted as well. I missed all Lucy Liu stuff and
Helen
Mirren,
yeah. I missed that, but that's a movie that I'm just like, I trust Sandberg, so it's like I don't need to say anything from it because I trust you. I don't think Sandberg hasn't created a movie that I don't like, from Lights Out to Shazam and everything in between, Annabelle Creation. So I'm like, you have my full confidence until you prove me otherwise, and I'm just do your thing, man.
Yeah, so with certain directors in certain fields, you're just gonna go see, and he is one of them. And the first film was excellent. I love it. So
yeah, and it's cool that like we're gonna have eventually like like we're gonna get Black Adam first, and then the next Shazam. So we're gonna have like a 3-movie Shazam verse going on the side here. And I think that's just great. And they look great. Looks like they have a good story going on, and a lot of the character work is really nice. And they talk about the suit upgrades, and they showed some concept art, and of all the new locations that they get to go to in the movie, and it just looks like they're just having a ton of fun. So I'm sure that's going to translate on screen just like it did with the first movie.
Yeah, no, Levi said that their suits are better, like they upgraded their suits and things
I
like
liked
that,
the suit in the first movie. I had no problem with it.
We'll see. Well,
yeah, but it looks like they're going to there's more texture. I think they're going to have more movement. They'll be able to do more.
And they got to sell more toys. Don't forget.
Yeah.
They always have to sell more toys.
McFarlane toys. More McFarlane toys.
So another thing Craig brought up was, of course, Titan season 4 being announced. So
Titans and Doom Patrol both and Pennyworth all got announced. New seasons announced during FanDome.
So there's no Red Hood show, right? Everyone was talking about that. That was the big thing, right?
Yeah, that was the one. Well, Ian just posted this that we might have to kick him out because that's just not cool. I'm just playing, man. You're entitled to your own opinion. But I don't agree. So that's all I'm going to say about that. For Titan season 4, yes, I had been told by someone who knew a little something that we were going to get an announcement of a Red Hood spinoff, and it didn't happen. So I was shocked when we didn't get that. And I'm wondering if it's going to actually happen at the end, at the finale, after the finale next week. For season 3, if they're going to talk about, or
it could be like a Boba Fett thing, like at the very end of like, oh, by the way, like there's going to be this other thing, like that could be cool.
Yeah. So I think this season of Titans, season 3 most people have liked on the whole. Obviously there's nitpicky stuff about it, we could go down the line, but I think it's been the best season. Pete often brings up it's like a Bat Family season this year. You have a lot of the Bruce Wayne elements in it. So I wasn't sure what they were going to do going forward, because it's always weird with these shows, especially when they switch from DC Universe. Now they went to HBO Max, and obviously the budget was higher, but I wasn't really sure that we're going to get that announcement. Again, I thought the Red Hood one was coming, but we didn't. So I don't know, but it's cool that we got the Titan season 4 announcement. They showed a little bit. There was a little bit of a clip about for the finale. Yeah, so we saw a little bit of that. Obviously I review it, so I'm very in tune with what's going on. I want to know more.
Do you think we'll see Tim Drake as Robin?
I think we might get it towards the end of the episode.
You think so?
I think he might go into the Batcave and just put on
I'm going to lean towards no. I think that's going to be saved for 4.
Oh, you think?
I think so.
So we'll see. But that was something that I was a little surprised we didn't get the Red Hood stuff. That's the one thing I'll say.
That's been interesting because it went from like, oh, I know who you are, to like, I want to be involved, to like literally saying like in one episode, I want to be the next Robin. This is what I want to be. So like they're really going for it. So.
It's going to happen at some point. Yeah. But I appreciate like just how he knew who Selena Kyle was and stuff like that. Like in the clip, like and Gar's like, who's Selena Kyle? And he just kind of like grins. You know? Yeah. He's so like into this stuff. You could tell he's got some detective skills, which is what Mr. Drake's all about. So
when they showed the room, his headquarters in the last episode, when you saw that, you were kind of like, holy crap. Yeah. So they really did go there with the character, which is awesome. So I'm very looking forward to see what's going on. And I know they showed some Doom Patrol stuff, but again, I'm behind, so I did not watch that segment because I did not want to be teased anything or be cheated about something, so I just kind of stayed away. For what you guys saw, what was it? What did they show? Was it any? It's
because it's like they confirmed the next season, and then there's a couple like behind the scenes stuff, and like they're not going to reveal too much. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I think Doom Patrol is it's an absolute frat party. Like it's insane every episode. Yeah. So I'm excited. Yeah. I feel like the only TV show they actually really kind of delved into was Stargirl, on the CW. I'm pumped for the next Doom Patrol season. And
we saw some beats from the next season of Superman and Lois too. And we even got cool things like we got the Smallville retrospective, which I wasn't expecting to have a highlight. But that was really fun too.
I think that was the surprise that everyone was talking about. Everyone assumed it was going to be this, that, and the other thing, but I think it was having Mr. Welling and what's his name as
Michael
on the
Rosenbaum.
couch. Yeah.
So. Yeah, we didn't get any Chloe references though, right? So
there was a clip.
That's true. That's true. You did see a little bit of her there. It was kind of sad Erica Durance wasn't there. We didn't hear from her. I thought it was a little weird that we didn't, but Christian Kirk was there, right? So we got a little bit of stuff from her there. That was cool though. That Smallville thing was cool. I didn't expect it. And that was one of the things about this year. They showed a list of who was going to be there, but they didn't really have a set schedule. So you were kind of just watching this, being surprised what was coming next. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like that format better than knowing, because then people obviously could just bow out, right? So they want to keep people watching.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. The other thing I wanted to bring up, the other panel we got,
Supergirl
was very well. We'll talk about Supergirl. I'll let Pete talk about Supergirl. You guys can talk about Supergirl for a little while, but I want to bring up the Blue Beetle thing, which I wasn't expecting. Right. And this thing looks like it's in really good hands, right? Like it looks like it's really, these guys are really, really passionate about it. And so I'm really looking forward to this.
I think they got the perfect guy to play Jaime. He's just so energetic.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to see when you look at a super early look at a creative team behind a movie. Like it's obviously far away out, but their enthusiasm and passion for the project really shine through. And so
same thing with Batgirl.
Same thing with Batgirl, exactly same thing.
Yeah,
and we all know she's going to be a redhead, so
she's going to have a cowl.
And she's going to have a cowl, no domino mask. So we're going to get a traditional Batgirl suit, which is great. I love the cowl Batgirl.
Yeah,
which we didn't get in Batman and Robin.
When they
we got
teased
for
that
the motorcycle, but
when they teased that suit, you guys weren't too happy about it. So,
what suit?
The one that they showed in.
Well, they said the Burnside suit. It's not my favorite version of the suit. It's just, it looks like more like she's wearing a bicycle helmet than a cowl. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure it'll look good.
So, do you want to talk about the send off to Supergirl, Pete?
It was nice. It's
little...
like I enjoy the show. This hasn't been my most favorite season of Supergirl, but I still enjoy it. And just you could tell, like, again, this is a cast that's been together for so long. They all really love each other. They're pretty much a family at this point. To hear Mr. Brooks talk about being gone for a year, and it's like he still kind of hasn't gotten over it. It's cool. They do some things that I didn't really like in terms of I don't like the Guardian in the show. I think it's kind of ridiculous to have Jimmy Olsen as the Guardian, but I appreciate everything they did with Dreamer and Brainiac 5, and I thought it was interesting that Hardwood said that he wasn't cast as Martian Manhunter, and I was like, is anyone ever cast as Martian Manhunter? Like, is this just something that like people are like, oh, we'll just change this character into the Martian Manhunter? It works all the time. We'll do this. This is how it goes. And I was like, all right, but I thought he was an amazing Martian Manhunter, even though in this season he's more John Jones in the Martian Manhunter suit than he is the Green Martian.
The budget for that,
which is a bummer because I'm like, oh man, can't they just put makeup on him? Whatever. But it's going to be a nice send off.
When the show's coming to the end, the money gets less and less for each.
Like we only have makeup to make one person's face green, and that's got to be
So Haas, Eddie, I know you watched the
show.
No,
it's like Pete said, this season's almost been bifurcated into two like separate storylines. Like the first whole half of the season, like Supergirl wasn't even, she was like in the Phantom Zone like the whole time.
That's been like a CW thing for like the last 2 years.
Yeah, like different stories. I think even the
Flash did it too.
Flash calls it like they call it like issues or something or story arc, something like that. But yeah, like this. Final seasons of shows are interesting, and Supergirl has gone through a lot of evolution since it's over its 6 seasons or whatever. And some seasons have been better than others. Like the show was at its best when it was actually doing really good like political commentary. I thought being able to like use that and Superman as a character has always worked pretty well when you're able to like use those like superheroics to kind of like reframe like social issues and stuff. I think that's really interesting, and Supergirl was doing that really. It was really good a few seasons ago.
That's why I tried to get Eric to watch it because it got very political.
Because you and me were like, well, oh wow, like this is like I wasn't expecting.
Back when they were like immigration was a big thing within the country,
and the Asian liberty and stuff. They really
touched on it hardcore.
That was kind of nuts, but yeah, like there's only a few episodes left, and and we'll see. Like the Guardian stuff, like I was totally fine with when they did that to Jimmy Olsen. It was already kind of a it's like Jimmy Olsen on steroids. He's like so strong.
I love the Jack Jimmy Olsen. I was all
Jimmy
about
Olsen.
that. Yeah.
So jacked that like he's in Mortal Kombat now with the giant arms and stuff.
Jax.
But, like,
he's so jacked. He's Jax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, they're doing cool stuff. I'm sorry to see it go. It's cool that show again. Like we have Superman and Lois, because of Supergirl. So it'll have definitely a nice complete little legacy, and it's cool. They're gonna get to wrap it up on their own terms.
Yeah, obviously, like we said, they talked a little Superman and Lois earlier in the show. Obviously it's about season 2 that's coming, so they talked a little bit about that. Nothing there was too earth shattering for me.
I appreciated the tour of the Kent house, though. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. How she keeps all of her things in that one drawer. Like that drawer must be huge because she kept pulling stuff out and saying,
"Yeah,
I have
Mary,
this, I have
Mary Poppins."
Yeah, seriously, there was so much stuff in there. A couple of things from our audience that they brought up. This is actually kind of true. There was no Green Lantern news or anything about the show, any movie, anything that went on there. So that was kind of a bummer, not to get any information about that.
Mm-hmm.
We also, Jacob brings up, we didn't get anything about the Gotham PD show, which
so
I think we got to get through the Batman first.
My overall thing about this, and this ties into what we were kind of touching on earlier with are they going to do the surprise Red Hood show or whatever? I think the thing that they learned from last year to this year, obviously, is that like a lot of things they even mentioned last year, like Gotham PD, didn't even really get brought up this year. And I think the reason for that is a lot of things they learned from these trade shows is like, it was a lot shorter. I think they're actually doing the smart thing as a business of like promoting things that are actually coming within the next 1 to 2 years. Because think about it, if they're not promoting Green Lantern, it's still a few years off. Like they promoted, they talked about Shazam, and Shazam.
All we really know is that they got a Guy Gardner cast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Shazam is not even coming until 2023. So it's like, what are they going to do? Like spend time in this 4-hour show talking about something else that's not even going to come out until 2 or 3 more FanDomes from now. Like they can't just if they just say all this stuff and surprise is over like that because you're not actually seeing the thing that is actually going to come up. So I thought they did a really good job of promoting things that are actually happening. And again, think about it. The last 2 years have been like end with the Batman trailer.
Yeah.
So next year, I will be depending on when FanDome is, what are they going to end with? A Flash trailer, like an actual Flash trailer? Like, will that be the big star of the show next year?
It's got Batman in it.
It's got Batman in it. Exactly.
Yeah. Batman is always there.
He's the top dog. He's the big gun, man.
Unless they do some Superman stuff between now and the next year, but I don't know if that was one of the things I think a lot of people expected was to have some Superman, some kind of
Superman and Lois.
Even if they did, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be far enough along to make it a draw like the main thing.
Yeah, so that was something I thought, and we didn't get it. It was just something that I had a really feeling about, but hey, whatever. One of the other things I thought was cool was the Static Shock, the Milestone Static Shock stuff.
That's another, like the Blue Beetle. That's another movie that's coming. Yeah. Like it's cool to see.
And they're getting their own animated movie and all that stuff. So like, it's not just like a Static Shock movie; it's a Milestone movie. Yeah. So this is this is their equivalent of like of a Justice League type thing. And I'm all for it. Like I loved Static. I grew up on the Static Shock TV show on Kids WB, like that was like my real introduction to the character. He appeared in a couple issues of Superman I would pick up at like a local convenience store, but this TV show really solidified my love. And to have someone like Michael B. Jordan involved with it just kind of like, okay, this is real, right?
Yeah, it was cool to get that confirmation because like we had heard about this obviously, and I think they originally mentioned it last year, so it was cool to get the confirmation that that this is definitely happening. And I passed that age, so I don't even have the memories of that show. So it's going to be new for me, and I'm looking forward to it. Forward to see what we get. So I mentioned the Superman thing was something I expected and I didn't get. Was there anything you guys expected from today that you were hoping to get that you didn't get?
No,
I my expectations were super in check. Like I knew that we were getting is what I wanted to see. The only thing that I kind of was hoping that is that we would get like like a release date, like for like the Gotham Knights game. I was like, okay, they're gonna come out with a trailer and give us a release date, and we know more. But that's not what this was, and that I'm like, okay, that's fine. So.
I mean, like outside of just seeing Keaton in the suit, there's nothing that I would say I wanted. Like that, but that's really it. Like, again, like I was like a kid on Christmas. Like I have all these toys in front of me. I'm not going to be worried about what I didn't get. Like I have so much great stuff. So if, like, anyone who's out there complaining, you got to put yourself in check.
Yeah. At this point, it's so much nicer to like re-experience and talk about the things we did get now instead of being like talk about disappointing like hashtags or like we need to keep doing like whatever.
Like what's the plan? This is the plan.
Like let's be excited about the stuff that they showed us. Yeah, exactly. We spent 4 hours with the plan. That's a great. This is it.
And again, none of this is new. Right. This plan has been in motion.
Right. Stuff
for
we've
a couple
heard,
years now. We know this. So enough with the plan talk. Here's the plan. Now all you got to do is sit in the seat and watch the plan.
Unfold. Let's watch it unfold. I did think the Wonder Woman panel was pretty cool with Patty Jenkins and Linda Carter,
and they confirmed.
Again,
I mean,
Patty's happy she's coming back for 3. So that's another stupid hashtag thing that can be put aside.
Well, we knew that Wonder Woman 3 was happening, like the day after Wonder Woman 84 came out.
There's the idiots out there who's like, she's not happy about HBO Max. She's leaving. She's got Star Wars. You got those morons, and it's like, shut up.
She's happy enough to talk to Linda Carter in a Wonder Woman panel about how great Wonder Woman is and how there's going to be a 3rd movie. So I think I'll take that.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna give something about the story, but because Linda Carter was kind of talking, and she's like, "Oh, but even if I could, I can't." Like I was like, "Oh," I thought they were gonna give us a little something.
Well, it's kind of like that Jim Lee thing where they bleeped out everything he said.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff.
That's kind of cute.
Like,
yeah. So, all right. Anything else? I think that
I'm with Frank. I also liked Wonder Woman 84. I feel like I'm one of 5 people.
I do. I enjoy it. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but I still like it.
But it's not like abysmal.
No, I agree. It's something it's something that I've watched more than once. I can say I've watched it a few times. So
definitely.
It's entertaining.
Follow us on Letterboxd, and you can all look at our ratings.
Our ever-changing movie rankings.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. All of our stuff is there.
So if you got out of the whole day, if you guys had to pick something, what was your favorite thing about it could be about this show, it could be about FanDome, like favorite thing overall. Drop the keyboard.
It was cool to have Bill on. I'll say that. It was cool to have Bill on the show. That's one of the things I liked about today. Well,
it's funny you mention because my favorite thing is Bill related too. when it was his reaction to when I said that the Batman could rival Batman Returns as the best Bat-Cat romantic thing we've seen on screen.
I can't wait to rewind and see.
Yeah, and he had an aneurysm, and I was like, keep your train of thought. But he's just like, so that was probably the best thing that happened all day today.
Yeah, I just think for me, just the vibe of it feeling like it really did this year, last year, but this year even more. It felt like you were at that it was a great virtual convention experience. Like me and you guys and all of us like at VOF, like we're all watching the thing at the same time. We're all texting each other. We're all like, interested in different things at different times. And then we all come together at the end of the Batman. It just felt like at the middle there, I was like, man, this is just so cool.
And that speaks volumes because the 3 of us have conned together. Like we've actually done this. Yeah. So like we've actually done this in person. So
it's a much cleaner experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it surprisingly it moves very fast. Like you're not sitting there like waiting for something. I'm sitting there
like, okay, 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Like they all get my text. I'm like, we're 30 minutes away.
No, I mean, I liked that we got a little something from the stuff that we know. That we know are coming. I wish we got a little more, maybe some announcements from things, but again, this is an awesome event. It really is. It's last year was kind of the test case, and like you said, this year it's much smoother, much more streamlined. It's one day, that's it. Get in, get out.
That second day last year was rough, man.
Yeah,
I was like, oh.
Yeah, because last year they did the movie stuff and then they did the TV stuff another day. So you had to like watch them at different times, and then some of the stuff was all like recorded, and obviously most of it's recorded, but like it was all recorded at different times.
And it felt like last year, obviously, because of the pandemic, a lot of people weren't in the same spot. Like,
right.
I know you had a lot of what seemed like for the Batman, they were all on Zoom, but like Jim Lee was standing next to whatever whoever that host was. Like, it felt like they were actually interacting with each other, as well as like Ms. Leslie and Alice as well.
Just quick, she should be Craig because she teased at the end of 84.
She was a cameo.
It sounded the way that they were talking, it did sound like she was going to have some sort of role. So
so that's I think we're going to see her again in that role that she
especially since that was the one thing even the people who didn't like Wonder Woman 84 were like like the fact that Linda Carter's in this made like I was like, okay, like, you know, you have a whole generation of fans of Linda Carter. That's their Wonder Woman, much like us and Batman, Keaton, the Flash, right? Like that's a draw for people. So I would imagine she'd be a part of it somehow, some way.
Yeah, she's my she's my first memory of Wonder Woman is that show. So
Wonder Woman.
She's very much my. Did any of you go do the twist on TikTok? I'm sure you didn't.
I don't even have a TikTok. So
I'm too old for TikTok now. When it comes like my last,
I thought that was funny. I thought
my last social media app that I downloaded was Instagram. Like that was it.
They're like, go on TikTok and show us your Wonder Woman spin. I was like, really? They're really asking people to do that? All right, that's cool. It's a fun little thing.
All the TikToks end up on Instagram and Twitter anyway, so if it's good, I'll see it at some point.
It's very true. They all get shared around everywhere. So any closing thoughts? Any bow you want to tie this up? Any? I couldn't be happier as a DC fan. I think Warner Brothers and DC has a huge hit on their hands. Everyone that I've talked to loved the Batman trailer. I know the Carusos were in tears, as was I. I as a Batman fan, I don't know how you weren't. So I'm sure Justin will chime in at some point. But you know, it's just a beautiful event celebrating our favorite heroes and our favorite comic book characters. I'm thoroughly pleased with this, and I again can't wait till next year. Yeah, that's pretty much. Haas, any closing thoughts you want to just?
It was great. I think I feel like now it'll just get more refined. I think DC Fandome trying to wrap your guys' head around it as like as a way of like we should aspire to be fans that kind of like that DC Fandome is projecting to, like instead of being like let's do this thing, we have to beg for this and we need all these surprise things. It's like let's see what they're giving us and be excited for that. Like let's experience the things that they're giving us and then keep going from there. And this event made me want to be a better fan. Does that make sense?
No.
Yeah. Well, that is the theme of Twitter. Be a better fan. Yeah. When do you guys think we'll get a Marvel version of this?
I don't know. That's a good question.
We're 2 years into this, and this has been a huge success. Like everyone loves it. I think it just the way it brings the fandom together.
Yeah, Star Wars has Celebration. So,
but like
Disney they have what
the investors call. Yeah,
the D23. It kind of is taken.
But is that like online? Like our fans?
No, it's not an online.
That's what I'm talking about. This whole online experience. Like, I feel like it's coming. It's got to, right?
Well, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll say, you know what, this is DC's thing. Let them have it. And I mean,
it's entertainment's copycat. There's no.
I agree with you, but we haven't heard anything yet. And you know, like this event, like Haas was saying, like it's a good way. I think this last year there was other stuff going on that kind of had people wanting and looking and hoping for different things. But this year, I think it was kind of streamlined and everyone was kind of just pointed towards the same end. Mm-hmm. And I think that you see the best of fans when that's the case.
Yeah.
I was watching on Twitter and of course there are people who are upset they didn't get things. And there's always going to be people who are like that but for the most part, I felt like everyone was really happy watching things today. Like, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, look at that. Like everyone was kind of happy and there was joy around the event. And then of course, topping it off again with the Batman trailer. I think it was last year I loved, and this year I think was even better because it was just cleaner, more streamlined, and so bravo to DC and Warner Brothers for this, and I look forward to next year everything going forward next year. Like you said, we already know there's stuff on the horizon, so we'll get more clarity about that, and it should just be a really, really fun day again. And again, a better day that you could fit into your day. Like last year, I felt like that's all I didn't have any time to look away. I had to just focus. It was 8 hours, I believe. It was totally crazy, but this year was much, much better. Yeah. So Haas, tell everyone what's going on with you outside, where they can find you and see you, and stuff coming down the pike. And
follow me on the Twitter at SMB_Ryan. As the aforementioned, you follow me on Letterboxd at also SMB_Ryan. If you want to look at some film ratings, you can see how high I put Wonder Woman 84 in my list of DCEU movie rankings.
Amen.
That SMB stands for the Super Mario Brothers Movie Archive website, to the only and best website dedicated to the 1993 original Mario Brothers film. You can find that on Twitter at SMB Movie. I'm also on tons of other podcasts like the Robin Everyone Loves the Drake podcast, the ELTD podcast, and I run some stuff for BOF like the Batman Podcast Network Twitter, and you can find that at Twitter at Batpod Network.
And there's no truth to the rumor yet that Haas will be in the Mario Brothers reboot thing that's coming out.
Yeah, they haven't asked me yet. So.
I thought you were Wario.
They haven't asked me.
No truth to that.
Well, you got that director's cut without any death threats, so let's make this kid Wario.
All right, Pete, tell what's going on with you.
You can follow me on social media as always. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Zack Snyder's favorite video at Pete Illustrated. It's on your screen. Follow podcast number 1. That's this show right here, Straight Out of Gotham, straight_O_G that I co-host with the man to my left, the champion of Long Island, Eric Holzmann. Let's see. I also got the Italian Spider-Man Coalition podcast. That's Italians for Spidey. I co-host that with the great Chicago dynamic duo of Nicholas and Nico Caruso. Make sure you follow at Team Yellow Oval. It's a big day for us. We heard the voice. All we got to do is see that oval. We are still champion and still celebrating the return of Michael Keaton. What else do I have? I don't even know.
The Hulk.
SOG Hulk Gamma Book Club. I do that with Ryan Lauer. We've got so many shows in the bank. Shorty, What You Drank. So that's going to come out and everyone's going to love it. Make sure you check out my reviews on Batman on Film proper for Detective Comics and Batwoman. That's right. Season 3 of Batwoman. Check that out. Ryan's still doing Azrael podcast.
It's still coming. So follow Twitter at Azrael podcast. It'll come at some point. Like Pete might be joking about the Hulk, but I'm not joking. We have recorded, me and Matt Whaley have recorded like 4 or 5 episodes of Azrael. So they're in the can. They just need to be produced by somebody.
and we're looking right at him.
Yeah. Whenever life can slow down a little bit.
Down a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
Eric, take it away.
All right, guys. So you see my contact information right there at Finally 33, spell Finale 33, and then of course, as Pete mentioned, you could catch up with both of us at straight_G on Twitter. If you're watching this on Facebook, Live, you also know that we have our Facebook page. If you're watching it on YouTube, check out our YouTube page. We have both over there. We have a Facebook group as well where fans can all get together and talk about this stuff. Definitely hit us up over there. If you're not a member, ask, and we will bring you in after you answer a couple of questions about just about being nice. Basically, those are the questions. I'm reviewing, as I said before, I review Titans for Batman on Film. So I have the last 2 that will be up soon. Obviously, the finale's next week,
and then you get started on Doom Patrol, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's happening, but I had talked with Garrett about for Batman on Film doing a Titans review at the end of the year, so we look out for maybe a podcast along those lines that Garrett will be hosting, and I will be the guest talking about the season of Titans. Is there anything else? No, not at the moment. There's nothing going on at the moment. So I want to thank everyone who appeared tonight. Of course, Bill Ramey, his son Micah Ramey. We had Ryan Lauer, Brian Haas, of course, down, who's still hanging out.
The essence of Rick Shue, he was here.
And as always, for Peter Verra, I am Eric Holzmann. You are in the Iceberg Lounge. We are closing down shop, and we will see you next time.
Booyah.